party people. Look where it's at. It's at, according to show notes, maybe the 6th episode of the 10th year of the Year of Shame. We're in like Flynn. My name is Matthew Moore. I will be hosting us somewhat through the show with the help with my beautiful gentleman I have here. Let's see who we have. So he's your death and grief correspondent for the Year of Shame Year 10, and he's my main man to go to if I want to get any shed advice. His name is Joe Cooper. Say hello to Joe Cooper, everybody.
Sure. Hello, everybody. I am indeed Joe. I don't think anybody, I could be corrected, I don't think anybody has died yet in the first 6 months of the show. Could be wrong. No, I don't mean ever. I don't mean globally.
What do you mean?
I just mean
has Death himself
in the immediate
gone on strike?
Vicinity. Yeah. There have been no deaths.
So, moving on. Who we got over here? Well, he's as black country as they come, and he's not quite Jasper Carrot, but his name is David Southall. Say hello to Dave!
Hello, everyone. Good evening. It's Black Country Day as we speak, and it's God Great 8.
I didn't know there was such a thing as Black Country Day. I'm intrigued.
Well, there wasn't really. I think they sort of made it up. Funny enough, one of my friends... one of my friends runs this Black Country T-shirt shop, and I think they basically created the day to sell merchandise.
The puzzle pieces have fallen into place.
Yeah.
I've literally never heard about it until Dave mentioned it today. And Dave happens to be wearing a very fetching Black Country T-shirt.
Of course, it's the flag.
It's the flag. And look, finishing us off before we can finish with the intros, I put these shoutouts together so last minute. I have nothing more to say than welcome Neale Jarrett.
Hello. How are we all? We good? Are we all incredibly hot and stuffy with the weather?
Super.
I mean, we've just done the first heat wave of the two that we're expecting, and honestly, I'm gonna die in the next one. It's gonna be awful, isn't it? Absolutely sweating.
I'm a bit worried. I've got this leather chair and I've got it tilted backwards slightly, so like the sweat is backfilling down to me. I'm going to be sat in a puddle,
ravining back into your butt crack, like a viaduct back into the black hole,
like a drip tray at the back, like a fridge.
Like from a George Foreman grill.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm pretty sure I've referred to something once as dripping like a fucked fridge. And on that note, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to episode 6, Year 10, Year of Shame. Giggity-goo, we are here. We're going to start talking about what we've been doing. I'm a little bit excitable because I'm talking, so I'm going to go first. Check it out, yeah. I went to London, and I went to an award ceremony, and I hired a tux. Dickie bow and everything. And we were put up at the Tower Hotel, right in front of that main bridge, Tower Bridge, probably.
Yeah,
London Bridge in London.
Well, there's loads of bridges,
but it was in the Tower Hotel, so I've been in the Tower Bridge. Got to be, surely.
And we went to this award ceremony, and we knew we had to do this presentation beforehand, me and my team, and it was for the UK Contact Centre Awards, which are call centres these days are called contact centres, same deal. And it was like innovation and change during like the past 2 years and COVID and stuff. And like our team were put forward. And enough. It was great going anyway, as it was with all the Dickie Bow. And it was a real expensive place. Like I think 10 grand our table cost just to be there.
Holy shibble.
So we're sat there thinking, well, who's the host going to be? Because last time they did it physically 2 years ago, it was Vernon Kay.
No way. That's big ticket.
They did have Vernon Kay. So this year, we're waiting for it. Out he comes. He's got the biggest hands in the cooking business. It's only Ainsley bloody Harriet.
Oh, God.
Amazing. Is he doing the catering as well?
Yeah.
No wonder
he's got a hot dog stand at the side.
I guess that's what you do if you're bookable. If you got an agent, hey, I'll do an awards ceremony. He loved it because everyone was just getting pissed out of their head.
With a bit of having photographs taken with him at the end and stuff like that.
Well, so the way it worked is if you won, they say, okay, bronze and silver goes to, and then you can go upstairs and get a picture taken with the award afterwards. And then when it goes to the gold, there'll be, like the cameraman will be there in the room and he'll zoom to you. And there was like 2 big screens either side of the stage with what they're looking at. So I was nudging my guys going like, right, keep an eye on where the cameraman is beforehand. And then as soon as it popped up and it said we weren't silver and gold, I'm like, guys, come on, we're in healthcare. There's no way that you can't... We pulled on heartstrings like you wouldn't believe on our presentation. It was like, bang, there you are. And I remember jumping up. I've never felt so fucking alive. And I think I was the first. I think I probably sprinted. I definitely did the whole lap of the whole place.
Yes!
But I was first up on stage. Oh, woo, woo, woo. I was first up on stage, and I looked up and I was like, oh my God, the cameraman's behind me. And it was... Look, winning an award's great, gents, but when you see a shot of the back of your head, of your crown, on a screen that size, and you don't see a bald patch, that was a tick in the box for a 43-year-old fella.
Oh.
Nice. But yeah, first up there, shaking the big man's hand. There's my award. We had a cracking night. It was absolutely fantastic. And then
Matt, did it feel like you had a really tiny hand?
Yeah, you were like,
Was it like
Jeremy
a
Beadle
baby holds your hand?
like a tiny Jerry Beadle hand holding a normal size.
Jeremy Beadle. Sorry to interrupt.
He definitely did. He's laughing. He's like, yeah, I felt like an infant.
But I also got COVID from that, which sucks. I've had my first COVID.
So Ainsley Harriet gave you COVID.
Exactly.
Is that what you're saying?
There's a Sunday sports headline.
That's an episode title right there, isn't it? Ainsley Harriet gave me COVID.
It'll be good SEO,
Bum
won't
COVID.
it?
And didn't even cook me a sausage roll.
Ooh, juicy.
So that's pretty much that's the big news in my world. Neale, come on, what have you been up to?
It's funny you should say that, actually. I went to an award ceremony with work down in that there London as well, since we last recorded, and we got beat by the NHS. Again, because they were pulling the heartstrings. Oh, look at us, poor us. Look what we've been doing for the last 3 or 4 years. Whatever.
Hang on. Are you objecting to the NHS being
Yeah,
given special treatment?
I was absolutely
It's a tough-
furious.
It's a tough
You know,
point to defend.
You know
Who do
the
you
only
think-
key workers are in here, yeah? I work for a key working company as well.
I've been in my underpants tracking postal IT systems.
Who do you think ships their fucking medication to them? Oh,
Exactly! So yeah, no, it was good. It was our table definitely wasn't 10 grand a table. Bloody hell, I think it was probably about £1.50 or something like that. But
I bet the bar bill was.
It was one of those. I was sold it would be a free bar, but actually it just turns out it's one of those ones where they put like a couple of bottles of wine on the table. So obviously you go straight for the red. Go get the good stuff in first, don't you? And then you do the light stuff around the sides, do the bottles of bud and stuff like after you've done the red. But yeah, no,
sparkling water just to keep your body guessing.
Yeah, exactly. Like, ooh, placebo effect. This could be.
I love that
perception.
Neil's got an actual valid tactic for this. I'm going to adopt this.
Yes, mate, go for it. But yeah, no, we came second in our category, and you had Ainsley Harriet, right? I can't compete at all. When I'm into these before, they usually have like somebody obviously quite semi-famous. In ours, we had a guy came up who was a comedian I've never heard of, or he's not famous. So he was doing like a comedic set. And he started off okay, and then started to die. And then he died for, like, he did a 15-minute set, he died for 10 minutes of it. And it's just really painful to be in the room, isn't it, when comedians just can't get the material over. And then a magician came out and did like a 10-minute magician set kind of thing, got people on stage, what have you, entertainment, everybody likes a bit of magic. Turns out he was a compere for the rest of the night. So he was like, he was there, again, nobody knows who he was or anything like that kind of thing. So
Wasn't Stephen Mulhern, was he?
No.
Or Dave's mate. Isn't Dave's mate a magician?
Yeah, Sav.
The Magnificent Sav?
Yeah.
No, it wasn't that. But we didn't win, but one of the people on our table, one of our contractors, did go up at the end of the evening when the party was started and actually did steal an award at the side of the stage and took it home with him. He took it to the pub afterwards And like it was for a completely different. It wasn't even for the award that we were up for. It was just a random one that he picked up first.
Did he get Rear of the Year?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Did he steal from the NHS?
No, it was another company, but the other company had come from like South Wales or something, all the way like down to London, and he took it. He just pulled it out of his like coat in the pub, and it's like, oh yeah, we didn't win, guys, but we did. That kind of thing. This massive glass kind of like kind of plate thing. So yeah, you carrying that around with him all night. So yeah, so that's been what I've been up to, Matt. Kind of playing second tier to bloody NHS as usual. Favouritism.
Can I ask, did you take that award back so at least somebody could get it?
Nothing to do with me. He was.
I don't remember being there, Chief. Neale, it sounds like Neale is loving life in 2022 like an almost 44-year-old man.
Yes.
But speaking of 44-year-old men, there was always one man who's a little bit older. His name's David Southall. What are you up to, Chief?
That's a low blow. You must be chasing me. You must be ready to pass the baton like in a relay behind me.
By all accounts, Neale's hitting 44 a good sort of like 6 months before me.
Oh, I see.
Arsing indeed.
What have you been up to then, Dave?
Not loads, apart from, getting neighbours sectioned, that kind of thing.
It's common practice nowadays, isn't it? To have a crazy neighbour.
Oh yeah, it's. I'm sure we'll hear a little bit about that in a sec. But yeah, same old shit. Just still working from home, still doing the same. Yeah, that's it really. But happy Black Country Day, everyone. I'm having a drink for all of you.
What's the is there like a in Wolverhampton? Is there like a local delicacy? Like I can remember when I was down in Stoke, it's kind of like what is it in Stoke again? It's like Eccles cakes or something like that kind of thing. No, can't remember what it is now. Oat cakes, that's the one.
They're Staffordshire, they are, mate.
Yeah,
that's where I come from.
Stoke. Exactly.
You can get like in some of the more traditional pubs, you can still get what they call grey peas and bacon, and it's like a sort of
the
soaked
fuck is that?
It's basically like a thick meat lentil stew. You have it with a big crusty bit of bread. It's the atomic weight of plutonium. If you eat it, you're basically dragging your belly round on a wheel like those people out of 2000 AD.
Jeez.
Grey peas and bacon. Yeah, it's good. Right. You'll have to try some if you go up here. Joe, what have you been up to? And you're on mute.
Joe.
Okay, well, I still haven't been to any awards ceremonies. I was trying to think about this. I ended up down an abandoned mine shaft the other weekend. I went out for a few beers.
Via choice?
Let's really go to Moria, John.
It was very much, this is what happens in North Wales when you go out for a few beers. So I went out with my mate, and I remember sitting in there's a craft beer pub in that. It's a nearby town. The town's called Mould, which doesn't fill you with great expectations for the food anyway.
Sexy.
But we having a couple of beers, and I remember thinking, you know what? I don't know where this evening's going. Like, I don't know what's going to happen. Anyway, what happened was we went to someone's house who I'd never met before, who's apparently called Rocket, and it was introduced as Rocket. There was various children sort of, it's a bit Lord of the Flies sort of running around this campfire.
What is going on here?
People there.
This is a word association. You can't just make stuff up, Joe. Are you guys associating fucking Usual Suspects? Are you looking around your room now? Like...
Rocket children, Lord of the Flies. No,
I went to
genuinely.
Flask, then I had a glass, and then I read a book on the
wallet. Okay, then around this campfire, and I'm dressed for the pub in a town. There's a abandoned mine shaft around the back of the garden. Do you want to have a look? It's in this like forest in a place called Gwynard Field. It's called. So this guy's just got a house in the middle of nowhere, and yeah, he said, "Do you want to come into this?" I was like, "I don't think I'm really dressed for it, Rocket." Come on, imagine if you didn't go in here. It's just, all right then, I'll get in. So I got in, and it was like They're all sealed up. I think
You
legally
got
they have
in.
to
Was it a coffin or something?
they have to be sealed up. No, it's about...
He couldn't say no to it. It was like the shaft like the one that could have got away.
4 of us got down there in the end. 4 of us were in there. But it's a proper, like... There's a little platform. First off, the external view of it, it's like a little bit of a... I don't know, a raised... Not a bunker, because it's only half a metre tall, a bit just above the ground. But it's all been blocked off. I think because legally they're not allowed to leave an exposed mine shaft.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, but
I'm pretty sure.
he'd found a way in, so it was fine. So we just lifted up this bit of metal and sort of climbed in, hunched over to get into the mine shaft. It was probably very, very dangerous. We were chucking a beer bottle down it, and it was like literally 8 seconds before you heard the noise.
I mean, Joe, are you in your 40s yet?
No, just about.
Is
Just
this
about
what
to
the
touch it.
Is
This is what the kids in
do
their
these
30s
days?
are up to.
Yeah.
This is like
Chucking bottles
a
in mine
geriatric version of the Goonies occurring.
There's a few points where they had to pull, like, I felt a tug at the back. It wasn't like a ghost, it was someone realising I was like way over the end of the platform and about to fall to my grisly death. Yeah, it was good though, it was good. I've ruined my shoes.
Just in my head, it's like somebody's got like there's like a flick book cartoon that you used to make when you were a kid. You know, in like on a pad of paper.
Yeah.
I can just see cartoons of Joe and his friends, 3 friends, going to the bottom of a garden, jumping into a well that turns into a magical kind of mine shaft, and it's just I just need some visual representation to this, Joe. I can't quite get.
I'm trying to find a picture, but
I'm imagining
you'll only be disappointed by the picture because, like, I don't know, it's a mine shaft, so it's just a hole.
It's dark.
And it's dark, yeah.
I'm just imagining Helen putting on
I don't
his
think
tombstone
pictures are particularly
like
good
a
for
picture
him.
of Wile E. Coyote jumping off a cliff, leaving a Joe space hole.
Yeah, his shed comes from Acme.
Yeah. Meep, meep.
I don't know how good the picture will be audio, but yeah, it's just like a little platform and then what looked like what was a big drop into the ground.
That does not look like something you want to be exploring in real life, let alone a video game. That looks like Resident Evil, where at the point where I turn off and go, nope, too scary.
Did anyone ever play Ghostbusters on like the Amstrad or the Spectrum? I'm sure it was the same game.
Yeah.
And at the very start of Ghostbusters 2, you're being sort of lowered down into it must be Ghostbusters 2. It was a bit like that without the rope.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
It actually does look like. Yeah. No, I wouldn't be there. Sorry, I would take one look at that and gone. No, I value my life.
The only other thing is I've got one of these outdoor pizza ovens. I've been making a lot of pizza.
Everybody's talking about these. Everybody's raving about these, aren't they?
Great.
Is it one of those ones on the small little legs that sit on the table?
Yeah. So my partner's celiac, so we have to do everything's gluten free, and we've had these crap gluten free pizzas almost all the time. It's become a bit of an obsession, so I've like properly over years refined the ones that we've got. Like genuinely, the sourdough in the front that's like for pizzas, and we went to Florence in Italy, like as opposed to Florence, not in Italy. We went to Florence in Italy and got there's a place. Oh, this is going well into the pizza podcast, but there's a place that does gluten-free pizzas there. We have to give them 24-hour notice, and I've had a pizza there, and I was like, this is amazing. I want to do that. Anyway, I think I'd almost cracked it. I was like, the only thing that's missing is having it wood-fired. So we got a thing, got an uni pizza oven, but there's others that are I think as good as, and there's ones that are about 4 times as much that are slightly better as well. But we went for one of these, and it's really good.
Is that a company that you got a bit of like a subscription for them, don't they? They send you the doughs and stuff like that, so many doughs or what have you.
Do you know what? I thought it was going to be. You were going to suggest you have a subscription to build the oven, and it was going to be like magazines.
They just send you one part a month.
Episode 1 and 99 pence.
Introductory offer, $1.99.
And in small print it says, we'll take 1,000 magazines.
Just imagining Joe absolutely starving in 10 weeks' time. Come on, Posty!
Where's the chimney?
Just sending me matches now. Yeah,
No,
I'm tempted. A lot of people are talking about that. A lot of my friends are talking about have got them and they're raving about them.
Yeah, there was an offer on. I'm sure they have maybe so often, but there's a good offer on them. So we just bought it when the offer was on, and have not been disappointed. It's been really good. And you can crank out once you've got it hot. Pizzas every sort of 5 minutes, and that's you've got to let the stone heat back up again. The pizza's in the oven for like a minute and a half, and then you've got pizza.
Trousers.
Too much
Pizza
hassle.
chat.
I've got a Domino's up the road.
That's not pizza. That's not pizza. Anyway, before we move on, we'll punch into one of the questions. In fact, Dave, why don't you pick out one of the lovely questions this week?
Right then. I'll take this one. This one is from the lovely Ross Grieve. He says, 5 years from now, and the Year of Shame 10 still has people talking. Hollywood comes knocking. Who is playing each of you in this obvious Oscar winner? Well, mine's easy enough, innit? It's Frank Skinner. Done.
I mean, I'm often told David Mitchell would make a good replacement.
Yes, that would work.
See, I used to, years ago, I used to get it quite often. I don't get it as often. People shouting at me in the street. But is it, I want a cunt to play me. It's such a fresh role for them to play. Straight off the West End.
Sorry.
Thanks, Joe. It's good to know exactly how you think about me. For fuck's sake.
I couldn't resist the setup. I'm really sorry.
It's fine. It was the Alan from The Hangover, the guy, the Zach, some sort of long name, Galikas or something like that. I used to get quotes from the Hangover shouted at me in the street. Fat Jesus was what I got shouted at quite a few times.
Jesus.
So yeah.
I mean, it's better than Slim Hitler.
Yeah.
I know exactly.
Is it from an aesthetic point of view? Is it though?
Pardon, say again, Joe.
From an aesthetic point of view, which would you rather look like?
Yeah,
Thin Hitler or Fat Jesus?
Don't we normally? We've done the last couple of episodes. We started with a really kind of awkward question, like, what animal do you want next to you? Like, what food do you eat while you poo? What do you want to look like? A thin Hitler
I
or a
suppose
fat
I could
Jesus?
say I identify as Bella Hemberg and have her play me. Just go off script.
Put that on yours as signature.
I know who Neale always reminds me of. Did you ever see a BBC comedy called Uncle with a guy called Nick Helm? That always reminds me of Neale for some reason.
Right, I'm going to do a bit of Googling.
There's a show called The Reluctant Landlord with Ramesh Ranganathan. And he's in that with him. And just the whole time I was watching that, I was just thinking, that's Neale.
Right, okay.
If I have a second choice, Matthew McConaughey has played Joe Cooper in 2 films, I think. Characters called Joe Cooper. One of them's Killer Joe, and the trailer's quite epic.
I've never
chicken
looked
nugget
to see if
bowl.
there's a Dave Southall in any film. I highly suggest not. I know there's one creepy surgeon who's been in the tabloids art.
Yeah, weren't you in a Halloween costume, was it?
Might have been. How about yourself then, Matt?
Yeah, what about you, Matt?
So, I reckon that if there's going to be movies made, they'll go in chronological order. So they'll start off with the first year. So by the time to get to us, it'll be the whole Year of Shame extended universe. Like the 10th year will be the end game of the Year of Shame cinematic universe. So
Phase 4.
it could be anybody. Like fucking Jace can play me for a little bit. It'll be Colin. And I'll spend a bit of time as Kath. I'll enjoy that.
What are you trying to say, that you're going to do some sort of quantum leap into past years of shame?
Oh man, and Sam Beckett never got home.
He didn't as well, did he?
He's recording a podcast with
It's
us
heartbreaking. That's the one title card that broke my heart
Yeah.
as a small boy.
Because didn't he get not Ziggy? What was his assistant
Al.
called? Al. He got Al back with his wife after
Beth.
the war. After the war. The fact you can recall that is like you watched it yesterday, Joe. Well done. But yeah, I remember that being quite heart-tugging as a kid.
Do you know they're remaking
yeah.
that? There's a new Quantum Leap on the way.
I hope it's good.
It won't be. But
Yeah.
anyway. I think so. Yeah, there you go, Ross. That's our killer movie ensemble.
Fat Jesus to play Neil Jarrett.
Yeah.
What I've done is create, while we've been doing that, alternate reality versions of Dave Southall,
Oh God.
Jarrett Neale, and I'm about to do Matthew Moore.
These are the links that you're sharing with us.
I don't know, is this like some kind of a horrible thing where they dig up something that I buried many, many years ago?
Jarrett Neale is my favourite.
Let's have a look.
I am apparently an Italian casting style instructor.
Ooh. Oh right, yeah, mine's unique. Wow.
Yeah. Let's not record that
Not
one.
good for the radio anyway.
No, it's not a radio thing. What, the black gay lawyer of the year, Jarrett Neale, was it? Or,
Yep.
and
No, you guys.
I'm a Ford dealer in Tulsa. I think this is. I've dragged this off track. Like,
You have.
single-handedly.
Yes. Yeah. You have. Yeah. It's fine. Okay. So we've done the question, Mr. Moore. Should we jump straight into what we've been playing?
Let's do that, fella. Why don't you kick us off?
Hold on.
Okay.
Before we
Go
start
on.
that,
Go on.
is there anything this month, or well, since the last recording, that you feel like you've missed out on? Because we haven't really talked
question.
about these before. I've definitely got one, and that's the Monster Hunter Rise DLC Sunbreak, which is crippling me. So I basically had to mute half of my Facebook and Twitter.
So is this a DLC pack then, like an expansion?
Yeah, it's a DLC expansion, but they're enormous. Always the Monster Hunter DLCs. So it's basically like another game. So yeah, that's the one thing that I've really wanted to play.
And why have you missed it so much? Is it because of the grind of it all, or is it because you feel you're missing out on those monsters?
Bit of both. I mean, like there's,
Or, like,
there's
the
certain
Camera-
community
'cause
people that I like to play with.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I just love those games. They're proper one to sink your teeth in. I mean, I did like I think it was about 780 hours on the PS4 version. So probably just
That's
as
a
well.
lot
I'm
of
not
time.
playing it this year.
Yeah.
You
I don't know if there's anything that I've missed this month. I am missing not buying games, but I'm not missing a title in particular. So that I have found myself kind of because there was a Steam sale a couple of weeks ago, a week or two ago, and I usually browse that and usually go, oh, that I've not played that in a while, or I don't have that on my PC or what have you, and I kind of was doing that and felt the pinch of not being able to buy what I want to buy because it's buying games. But there's not been any particular title as yet that I've gone, crikey, I wish not. That should have been my Joker. So I'm lucky in that respect. What about you, Joe?
There's been a couple of I don't know if they're this, but I know that Mario Strikers came out in June, and that's one that I would have picked up and got a lot of play out of. But I'm not devastated I haven't got it at the same time. Like, because if I was desperate, I could just dig out the old one, which I think Dave has probably done.
Yeah, I'll get onto that one later.
But that's one. There's been a few actually. There's the new Wii Sports one. I can't remember, but I've almost just started burying my head in the sand. I've stopped following it. Because I think I've finished. And this is a ridiculous. I think I've finished one game in 6 months, just because everything's been mad and busy, and I get really pulled in, and I've, like I said before, one game at a time. So without there being that, I've got to play this new one, and it's going to pull, and then it sort of gets you over. After a month or so, you're so invested that you're not going to give it up. I don't know,
like Rick Astley,
a bit like Rick Astley, but the one that we've the one that I've still missing, still feeling the effects of, is the one that you've all got as the Joker. Like, that's the one that I think that would be worth getting, but I've got so much of a backlog.
The thing is, though, Joe, if, in all honesty, from the limited amount I know about you and how you play video games, I think that would be a dangerous game for you to own.
Yeah.
Because you would lose yourself in it massively. Elden Ring, From what you were talking about, like Hades and stuff like that, and the multiple playthroughs and kind of,
Well, Hades is a bit of an outlier because normally I'll play a game to the end, and once I've finished it, it's rare that I go back. Like, most games will just be finished. That's it.
Do you not do
a couple of
achievements
exceptions,
or anything? Do you just do story, done, that's my story, the end?
If I love it, I'll go back to it.
Oh, yeah.
If I love it. Like, The Last of Us, I've got... Like, I did that again on a harder difficulty and went for the platinum, and then Bloodborne I went for the platinum, but I did a bit of save scumming at the end. I didn't actually play it through 4 times. I did that and then went back and did that last fight a couple of times just to sort that out. But
I did that with Elden Ring. I saved scummed the last few endings because I'm not playing the whole game again for literally 30 seconds of difference.
But then at the same time, Neil, like I try and extract all the fun before I finish it. So at Breath of the Wild, I was going around doing the DLC because I knew that once I beat the final boss, I'd probably stop playing it. I won't bother playing it now.
Yeah,
so that was like, I don't want to leave this world anymore, and like almost like make a special day of finishing him off because I knew I'd beat him. So it's just a case of right, sit down, light the candles, get all ready. No, but, you know, sort of soft music in the air.
Yeah, Barry White.
Yeah,
ribbons. How about yourself then, Matt?
Yeah.
Have you missed anything?
No, I've not really missed much. I was tempted to try the because I still don't quite know where I am with my Xbox subscription. I figured that like I didn't give myself any hard rules like you did, but I just thought something popped up. It was the Guardians of the Galaxy one because it turns out that's actually a decent game, and I thought single player game with a bit of story and a bit of fun. That's right up my strata. And the best thing is, I guess I'm not missing out on it because it's there when I'm ready for it, and I'm not playing it because I'm doing the Year of Shame because my Year of Shame is different. But like, from somebody who's paying attention to their finances, it's always good not to buy something day one because you're not paying full price for it. Wait a couple of weeks, wait for it to drop. You can play the same game because if it's on a subscription. I don't know, do they fall off? Are they always there? I don't know.
Games fall off.
Yeah, they do fall off.
Games Pass, yeah.
I was going to say, I'd just make a quick comment about that. I've been looking at Game Pass lately because I said that I wouldn't play anything that came out after January the 1st on it. And it just breaks my heart to look at it now because there's so much added to it. I don't think when you've got it and you can dip in and you use it, you realise quite how much stuff is added to it all the time. So I've more or less stopped looking at it because I know, as I said this before, I'll just get pissed and I'll click that play cloud button and then that's it. That's my rules broke. So I just stay away.
I think it's like there's games that pop up on it that I see people playing video games. I'm like, you so and so is playing such and such, and then I'll see it's on Games Pass and I'm like, I could be playing that as well.
Yeah. Like there's one that came out today. It's an escape room thing, multiplayer escape room, and I just thought, how much of a laugh would that be for us all to play? You know, Joe could get a Game Pass subscription for a day and play it in the cloud and play along with us. You know, it push came shove, but then we'd all be breaking the rules. So it's a perfect one to do as well.
I think it's that Sniper Elite 5 that's just come out as well, which was kind of, I think that's a recent release, and that's on there as well. And I was kind of like, I've played that.
I did. No, actually, I did break my own rules. I did download that and played that for a little bit. I went, yep, I can still shoot dudes in the nuts.
Oh, you dirty cat.
Delete it.
But that raises a good point. We haven't had the four of us playing a game, and we can make that happen this month, I say. We can find a game and the four of us playing it before the next podcast episode.
Well, I know I've said before, we can do, Steam remote play together. You know, that way you just basically, everyone just has a controller attached and has Steam on their computer. And I just stream it to you and you can play that. I have massively upgraded my PC now, so I've now got the computer from Superman 3.
Just that woman when the technology takes over. That used to scare the shit out of me as a child.
Yeah. Yes, mate. That's up there with the Return to Oz when they take the head off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can remember that. Anyway, we're not gonna, that's a deep rabbit hole. Sorry, go on, Dave.
We'll come back to that at the end. I'm just going to make a little note.
Yeah,
hold on.
What scares Neale as a child?
Yeah, I know. I've got one. It's quite embarrassing. So yeah, like I said, I've massively upgraded the PC now, so I'm quite capable of playing more or less anything. We'll make that happen this month. And even, I've touted this idea before, but I think we could just quite easily watch like one of those interactive FMV games, because I've got a ton of them, and we'll just have a drink and shout at the screen, and we all just pick it. We end up watching a film for an hour and a half. Done.
I'd love to do that. I would really, really enjoy that. Let's make that happen.
Yeah.
There's also Fall Guys is obviously multi-platform now as well. So with Joe on his Switch,
Yeah.
etc., we can easily make that.
It is
happen
also
as well.
free.
Yep. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Right then. So
Where are we?
we're on. What have you been playing? Do you want to introduce it?
Sorry, thank you very much, Dave. Dave picking up the slack while I wasn't paying attention.
Yeah.
Don't worry.
So-
I noticed Matt
I just
slipped
zoned
in
it.
at the start that he'd done the agenda. Has he bollocks?
Sorry. Back in the room.
That's
Back in
fine.
the room. All right, what have we been playing? General format. Okay, so you put some things in there, Dave. So completed, dabbled with, retro specials. That sounds like you. Speculations. I don't know what.
I'll just put that for
anyway, Neale.
generally how to go through.
Anyway, Neale, I will read this script in Ron Burgundy style as it is presented to me.
I bet you're wearing Sex Panther.
Oh God. Yeah. So shall I tell you what I've been playing since last?
Go on.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I forgot exactly what I'd mentioned in the last recording, so I did go back this morning and started listening to the last episode, and I had to turn it off after 10 minutes after hearing my voice because slipping into a coma. So I might be repeating myself, things that I mentioned previously. But I think I mentioned last time that I've been playing Cyberpunk 2077 on the PC. I've completed it since the last recording, and I really like it. I'm a fan of that game.
Did you complete it the first time round?
Did I complete it the first time? No, I'd started. I think we did discuss this in the last episode, but I started a character when it first came out, and then came across all the kind of graphical problems, and just parked it, went to one side, started a new character whilst we were in Year of Shame, and took that to the very end. Played it a lot, so I've made some notes, but I'm not wearing my glasses. So wait 1 second. I played it 139 hours in this character, so
Wow.
I did a lot in there, and
You still got stuff to do. End game.
yes, there is stuff to do. Yeah, definitely. And there's meant to be an expansion coming out in about a year or whatever, and I'm actually looking forward to it, which meant to kind of make it a bit more open-ended at the end for you to be able to go back into Night City and stuff. But I really enjoy that game. I think that it's got bad press. It doesn't deserve it anymore. Definitely doesn't.
I'm looking forward to
The other game
trying
I've been
that.
playing, yeah, I would definitely recommend it. I think the atmosphere that it creates inside the game is underrated, definitely.
I might get further
I've
than
been-
the pub this time in it.
Yeah. The other game I've been playing was my Joker. I had to stop playing Elden Ring, to be honest with you. I was playing too much. It was creeping into everything. I was thinking about it during work. I was dreaming about it. I was trying to play it whilst I was at work. Sorry, boss. And it became a bit too much. So I purposely gave myself 2 weeks off from it and just had a bit of a holiday because it was becoming ridiculous. So current status on that is I'm level 67. I'm 65 hours in, and I'm going to pronounce this wrong, and Dave will correct me. I'm at is it Atlas Plateau?
Altus? Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure now. Remember, I'm the elderly one here. My memory's going rapidly of this
Yeah,
game.
but come on, you've played that game a lot. Anyway, so I feel like I'm not even halfway through when it comes to like the exploration of the map.
I'd say you're probably about halfway. If you've got so you've gone up the big lift into.
Yes, one of the last encounters I had. Well, most of the encounters are just fucking bullshit. But one of them was on top of you climbing an extremely large ladder onto up a mountainside.
Oh yeah.
And you come basically into like a nest of fallen star something beast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're
Right.
by a place that is very hot.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Not going to use too many swear words here, but that is a cunt.
That was the last thing I
so-
killed in the game. I actually went back to that after I'd finished it because it
I've
just
run off. I've left
destroyed
it.
me.
Yeah, I've left it. I can't even make a mark on it, so I've left that. Still a beautiful game. Still really like it. Just need to be careful for it not to become an obsession. And when I was taking the break from it, I wanted to cleanse my palate. I have jumped into the Mass Effect trilogy again, and I'm playing it from the beginning. And I played Mass Effect 1 when it first came out, back in the 360 days, when I was quite a naive video game player. I probably didn't pay as much attention as I should have done. Skipped, text and things like that and everything.
I'm going to stop you, and I know this would be ridiculous. No spoilers.
Okay.
Because I'm in the same boat. I'll probably talk... I might as well talk about it now, but I'm way behind you, but I've just started it. So.
Right. I've just finished the Mass Effect 1. And I'm just about 2 hours into the second one. I don't know what my time length is of how long it took me to do Mass Effect 1 in this playthrough, but it feels, compared to my first playthrough, 10 years back or whatever it was, I feel like I've done 3 times as much this time around.
Do you feel like it's aged well, the game?
I didn't feel like it was, especially because it's the Legacy Edition, some of the graphical tweaks and the gameplay tweaks they've done. I know they've kind of made those improvements, kind of the way that the mechanics of combat they've improved since the original playthrough. So I mean, I don't feel I enjoyed every single bit of it. And then when I've gone in to start playing 2, and the combat is different, like you actually can reload your weapons, for example, that feels weird. It feels like, well, actually, I quite liked how it was in Mass Effect 1. So, but I've played, like I say, I've played through, I really enjoyed it, got a lot more into the lore and the backstory of stuff. The codex of stuff I've been reading and listening to, it's amazing. I think I've become an addict again. Always loved him. I loved him when I played him originally, but again, like I say, a younger Neale was probably just a bit more of a naive player that didn't really kind of enrich myself much in the video games. I just played them. And this time around, there's a lot to it, Joe. And I highly recommend just taking your time with it and enjoying every single aspect of it. Some bits are a bit, the kind of the planet landing in the Miko and the missions down there. They've got, each building is basically the same shape. There's a format that they followed when they was doing a space exploration in that year. Do you know what I mean? It was a 2-level building with a door at one end. But you can forgive all that because it's a really good story, and you can feel that the characters are really opening up and starting to bloom, and then they bloom in the second one is where everybody kind of raves about the second one. So I've just started the second one. I feel like I've been talking forever, so I'm going to shut the fuck up. But yeah, I loved it. I got quite a few of the achievements. Felt like I wanted to get some more. That doesn't mean I'm not going to go back and try and get some of the ones I missed out on. But that's me. That's what I've been playing.
One question for me on that.
Go.
Do they do any presentation with the third one and like a choice of endings? Is it like a director's cut, which is the original ending that you can play through?
So you with the Legendary Edition, you can take your initial character that you create, you can take it through the entire. You can load your character into the next one. So I've loaded my Mass Effect 1 character into 2, and it gives you some benefits of kind of starting with some of the same. You start with the same spec kind of thing to a similar exam, and you level up a little bit first off. But in all the DLCs there, so there's only one DLC that's missing from the original one, I think it is, or the second one that was bugged when they tried to remaster it. But yeah, the ending, the Mass Effect 3, the one that was quite controversial, I'll tell you when I get to it, but yeah, apparently they've done some tweaks around that and what that is. But I'll, without spoilers, once Joe's gone through it as well, we'll probably have a discussion probably around about December time around it. But I'm sure everybody's sick of hearing my voice, so I will hand to somebody else. Dave, what have you been playing?
Brace yourself.
Oh, here we go.
I might interject just a second before Dave, because
yeah, go.
I was really enjoying what you were saying,
it.
actually, and I thought, am I going to stick with this? Because it's got a feeling of it's slightly dusty around the edges, and slightly the characters are chewing a wasp while they're talking.
Oh yeah, there's some funky eye movements and stuff like that where they're not quite. You think this person's got two lazy eyes.
But actually, the way you've just spoken about it means I'm like, it's got me more excited to keep on going, and I'm only about 2 hours in, I think. But no, it sounds like you've absolutely loved it, and like that's
I went back to it.
Give it a go.
Yeah, went back to it, and it's a very good game. I would put it on a bit more of a challenging level than normal in terms of for the combat's sake, just to kind of make those combat sessions last a little bit longer.
No, that's fair because I've been flying through, and it's been, the killing things has been easy. And I've just had to find stuff.
It doesn't get hard until the last quarter. There's 2 boss encounters towards the end of the game. The first one, which I won't spoil, but you'll know when it happens, is a lot more challenging than it should be. But I'd up it if you can.
What are you guys playing? Are you both playing the legendary version or whatever the new one is?
Yeah, so it all comes off the one launcher. It's like, you're loading the game and you can install all 3 games within it. But yeah, it's like it's the legendary.
You're on PC, Joe's on PS4. Yeah.
No, I'm playing it on Xbox actually.
Oh right, yeah.
On my on my Xbox.
Nice.
Just for those achievements.
But it was literally sat in the cellophane. I bought it November, December last year, and it was just sat in the cellophane, and it was kind of this is a big one. I think I bought it because it was like on the cheap, and I've never played a Mass Effect, and I've got a feeling I'm going to get fully dragged in. It's why it's a sort of when I've got a bit of time. Let's do that a lot. But it does sound like I'm going to get absolutely dragged into it.
You've got to remember that the first one is the base layer for where, and the solid grounding for where the second and the third one go. The second one, I know practically every video game person that I know holds the second one in their top 5 or top 10.
Well, it was that post that Dave did fairly recently. I think Dave did, and it ranked. That's what piqued my interest to keep going with it again a little bit as well. That. Especially number 2, like you said, there's a lot of people singling out number 2 for praise as being like best video game ever. The
characters and the stories and the interwoven kind of social element of 2, it's just crackers. Crackers. They put that into a game, but there's also, because it's the Legendary Edition, there is, and it was EA as EA was getting more and more famous for selling DLC that should be part of the game. There's a lot of content in there, Joe, as well. So, stick with it. I guarantee if you stick with it, you'll enjoy it. You'll go, yeah, okay, that was all right. That was okay. But then when you get to second one, you'll be like, yeah, worth the wait. This will be awesome.
Yeah, cool.
Sorry, Dave, back to you.
Yeah.
Do we want a quick question first?
I'm going to read this one out as it appears in the agenda, which I think is Dave's long, boring list of old shit.
Yeah, this is basically... Okay.
Oh my God, I just spit beer
Here we go then. Right, so... much as you were talking about your Elden Ring addiction there, I said last month I was having a hard time picking something to play after that. So basically, I just still weren't ready to really pick up a big game. So I started off, as you mentioned earlier, I started playing Guardians of the Galaxy. Absolutely brilliant. I've only played about 2 or 3 hours. I think seeing a picture of Sam Fox up on the wall in the bedroom right at the start, literally when you start playing, just sucked me right in. It's funny. It's got a really good script. It's not the most technically accomplished of games, but it's really good. But is
it third person, first
person, and
what game is it?
You sort of control all your squad at the same time, but they're just basically running about doing their own thing, and you just fire their specials off when you want. You play as Star-Lord the whole time. As far as I know, I haven't got very far. Can I just pause for 2 seconds?
Yeah.
Has someone got an alarm going off, or is it me?
There isn't an alarm.
No. It's me. I'll be editing it afterwards. There's car alarms going off.
I had to mute my mic earlier because there were 2 dogs having a right go out here. Of the 4-legged kind.
Rough dog sex.
Absolutely rough.
Should have recorded it. There's a market on that on the dog.
Black country dog sex.
Black country rough dog sex.
Anyway, where was I? Right, so basically, I've had a month I've gone back to my regulars. I've been playing Avengers again, which I know everyone hates, but I love it. It's basically a fly around, smash shit up with your mates. It's like a Streets of Rage with superheroes and your mates playing. They released like Lady Thor with Jane Foster, so I've leveled her up to max level as well because I am sad. Still love it. Been playing a bit of Overwatch again. Love that. That's just a great game to just jump into, shoot a few things. It's one of the only team-based shooters I'm fairly competent at. Heroes of the Storm, again, as usual. That's like a MOBA on the PC. But sadly...
Never heard of that.
Oh, it's basically all of Activision's characters. So you've got like people from Overwatch, people from Warcraft, people from StarCraft, people from Diablo. It's a MOBA,
Right.
top down, click and do. It's like a hero fighter kind of thing.
Right.
But they've come out with a statement this week and said that's it. They're not doing anything else for it. It's going to stay in maintenance mode now. Nothing new going forward, which makes me sad because I've played that game basically every day since it came out. So I've been playing a PC game called Noita. Now this is a brilliant game. It's like a 2D side on, and every single pixel is like a it's like physically simulated, so you can shoot a little hole and lava will drain through, or water from the top, and you can do all sorts of like crazy combinations of things. You basically play as a wizard, and it's like a roguelike. You do one run, die, start all over again. It's such a good game. It's really, really atmospheric, really just fun to experiment in. You can basically make your own spells up in it by combinations of all the others. It's just fun. It's a really good romp. You can't really finish it, I don't think. So I've just been carrying on.
What's that called again, Dave?
It's called Noita, Noita. It's just good. Then I saw a lot of people playing a new PC game called Peglin, which is like an RPG version of Peggle, basically. I saw lots and lots of people playing this on Twitch and things like that and talking about it.
You're very much talking my language here, Dave.
Well,
Peggle and RPG elements.
yeah, well, I got an older game which is basically the same thing that I'd never played before called Round Guard. So I've been playing that, and that is just such a great. Have it on at the side, do a round of it when you feel like it, turn it off, carry on. I think you would like that, being a Peggle fan, Matt.
All right, I will look forward to the edit where I'll write that down at this timestamp.
Yeah.
Write it down,
There's
Matthew.
two. One's
I've
called
only just
Peglin,
wish list.
one's called Round Guard. So Round Guard's the one that I already
list.
had. I've been playing some more Chivalry 2. That's like a mass medieval knight combat simulator. So it's so funny. It's just imagine like the objective versions of Battlefield, but you're with like 40 other knights who are running around doing proper combat, hacking each other's limbs off and everything. It's just hilarious. It's such a funny game.
Is it easy to be shit in that?
You can be
and
totally shit.
or-
It's fine. That's why I like it. You can even be one of those. You could be a swine. You can play as an archer and just hang at the back getting kills and stuff. But everyone hates archers, so everyone just makes a beeline straight for them. But it's so funny because you can do like emotes. So you just have like 30 players charging with you, and you're all just going yeah. As you charge in, and people going everywhere. Absolutely superb game, and they just updated it with a free DLC. It's like an upgrade to the game. You can't not have it, and they've added like horseback combat into it, and they've added like Middle Eastern factions. So like the Ottomans and like Mongols and things. It's superb. I've played a bit more Flight Simulator because there was a free. You could get the Warthog, the Pelican from Halo in it.
Yeah, I saw that. I saw that and have that for nothing.
Yeah,
because
yeah,
why
yeah.
not?
So
because we're
obviously,
Microsoft.
first thing I did was I flew a Pelican straight to my house and landed in the car park outside here. Fantastic.
Didn't hover, can't it?
Yeah,
Lots of
it's like
videos I saw with
it's
that.
like a VTOL jet, so it works sort of like a helicopter because they're adding helicopters in as well, helicopters and gliders.
That's the one thing that I kind of when it first came out, I obviously like everybody does go to your house.
Yeah,
And by the time I got where I'm going around my house, I was like, by the time I even got it or took a screenshot of it, I'm half a mile in the other direction. Couldn't quite slow down to kind of really take in. But obviously with that Pelican, you can just basically hover.
So what you do is you like hit the afterburners and it turns it into a proper plane type flight. It's excellent. It just feels good flying that thing. One tip with that is if you don't fancy downloading the like 130 gig install of it, just play it on the cloud because it's all patched, it's all ready, and it works just as well. Just play. I demonstrated it to my boss because he's a big aviation fan, and I just like shared my screen and I went, right, here we go. I'm in a browser, booted up xCloud in the browser, and just played some flight sim and just flew around a bit, showing him. He loved it. He'd just been to the Cosford Air Show up the road, so he was well up for looking at that. I've played some more Strange Brigade with my friends on a Tuesday night. That is an absolutely superb shooter. I'm not going to carry on about that, but we've only got one little DLC mission left to do now. Again, I've also played some more Far Cry 5 now. We tried to remain sober, so we have a slight hint about what we're doing in it now. It doesn't help that when you forget, and then you get all these like people mystically appearing in drug trances and things like that. You're just like, what is going on?
I remember that game being quite trippy in places. In one of the sections, I think we were one of his sister. Like
that's where we're at now.
Sisters. Yeah, it's they're shooting you with trippy darts all the time, aren't they?
Yeah, so you just keep tripping out wherever you go. Oh, and I've been completely obsessed with Microsoft reward points, so I've been doing those every day. And I reckon that Duel is now my most played game this year. You know, you play Duel in the Xbox app. It's like a Bejeweled Match 3 puzzler, and you earn points from it. So yeah, I think that may genuinely be my most played game this year.
There is general spoiler alert. There's a question about this later. We can talk about it because I have no fucking idea what that is.
Right, it's good.
But we'll save it till then.
Save it till later. It's
Okay,
going to blow
okay.
your fucking mind.
Okay, right. I'm not even part way through yet, lads. I warn you.
Hold on to your britches, guys.
So games I have actually completed this month are I played Telling Lies, which is like a piece it together FMV game where you watch clips and you get keywords and you type them into the search and you get other clips off those keywords and you try to work out what the hell's going on. It's a sequel to Her Story, which was really, really good. I really enjoyed that one. This one, it's the most boring game I've ever played in my life, and I cannot believe I finished it. It's basically like Googling TikToks for 2 hours. It's the worst thing in the world. Yeah.
I briefly went onto TikTok and I'm too old. I just can't cope. It's
No.
like, what? No, just stop.
It's not for
Just
me.
stop.
It's
The
not
kids
for me
love it.
either.
But stop. So Her Story was the one where it's like you piece together from text messages and things.
Yeah,
Don't you? Like what's happened to
that's
someone.
pretty much exactly what it is. It's the same people.
So how did you get it wrong the second time? Just not as good a
I
story?
don't know. I just could not give a shit about a single person in the game. I just didn't care.
That unique. Yeah.
I just thought it was a bit boring. None of the characters drew me in, and I just didn't care at the end. I just wanted to get it over and done with. Unlike, I went back. Remember last month I'd played Full Throttle, the Lucasfilm game.
Yes, you did.
So again, this comes on to we've been playing that high score day every day, and it's 5 games to get from the pictures, and from them I've been sort of picking up on them and playing some of them. So yeah, I played through Day of the Tentacle remaster. Absolutely fantastic! What a day of sheer joy that was. It's still got it. It's really clunky to control now.
Are you knocking out these point and clicks in like a session?
Oh yeah, I play them like through in one normally. They don't take long.
What used to take us a year when we were a kid.
Well,
Dave's doing it in a
I can
day.
remember an awful lot of what to do though, which because I played it obviously back in like Amiga days and things like that.
It's because you were phoning the cheat helpline
Exactly.
at the back of the magazine.
I was phoning Skywalker
I was
Ranch
paying 20,
for tips.
25 quid an hour to get those tips.
Chips and teats.
Sorry, I completely interjected
That's
into
all
you
right.
all over your face.
So
Dave, carry on.
the next one I finished was another bizarre point and click. Now this one took me longer. It's called Genesis Noir, and it's fucked up. This game it's basically like a jazz themed point and click adventure that turns into a sort of noir space-time adventure. It is very, very, very weird. I can't really
That
do it
sounds
justice.
amazing.
It's good. It's got a great soundtrack. It's got a terrible ending though, unfortunately. But I
Well, spoiler
really,
alert.
really enjoyed this game. It's just like a surreal noir game that spans like time and space. I can't really describe it to you because it would spoil things. It's very, very unique. Then we move on to what have I been playing on retro? A shit ton.
This is just new stuff.
So I've been sort of curating my retro stuff and my emulation stuff. It's quite frankly ridiculous. I could probably do a retro year of shame for the rest of my days, I reckon, now with what I've got collected. So as we were talking about earlier, there've been a couple of Nintendo releases this month. So the first one was Wii Sports. I thought, I can't buy that. Why do I need to buy it anyway? I've got that. So I've dug out the old Wii. I've been playing loads of Wii Sports. It's so much fun.
Fuck you, games being out. I'll go and get my old version and go and play it. I love the fact that because a game comes out and you don't have to buy it, that will convince you to go and play it. It's a great randomizer. Roll dice if you need to.
Straight out from the loft. Look, there's my old Wii cases.
Look at him.
Oh, quality.
I've got Wii Fit. I've got a Wii board. That's my friend Mark borrowed me one of them because I'm getting too fat, so I needed to do some exercise. So Wii Sports Resort, all fantastic, all as fun as the day they came out. I've not played an awful lot of them because I have actually got back into going out and walking and doing exercise and stuff. But oh my god, the Wii is so much fun. Likewise, I've also been playing Mario Strikers Wii. Because it's just superb and it's just as good as the new ones, really. Brilliant. I highly advise getting a Wii again. Who was it was talking about light gun shooters the other day? I was playing a good one. It's called Ghost Squad. It's just a superb, like on rails, time crisis type shooter. So much fun, and you're absolutely knackered after you've played all of these with the waggle and moving around.
I found it's light gun-esque. Resident Evil 4 on the Wii is like one of the best games. And I've played it on the PlayStation. It's dreadful. Well, it was all right. It's like a standard Resident, but on the Wii, it's like one of the best games ever. Or for fun.
Resident 4.
Have you played?
Yeah. It's got a slightly tweaked control scheme, hasn't it? Do you know they're going to release yet another remaster of Resi 4 as well? That was in the Microsoft show recently. It does look good. It does look pretty good. I would say Resi 4 is the best one for me because it was fun and not too scary. Okay, also on the Wii, you know, I told you about my secret love of horse racing games many a time. I absolutely love them. I've been playing this champion G1 jockey, which is really funny because you have to get the old whip on the go and everything.
So you're the jockey?
Yeah, you're the jockey in this one, not the horse. And also,
I didn't think it was a choice between you being the jockey or the horse.
That would be good.
I thought it was more like a sort of you set up. It's more like you work at Ladbrokes, isn't it?
Bookie simulator. Talking about which, there's another shit arcade game I've been playing called Arlington Horse Racing, which is you just stand there, put fake credits in, and bet on them. It's pointless. I love it.
It's a waste of time.
It's an absolute waste of time. Arlington Horse Racing, it's called. It's awful. Okay, what else have I played? I played an absolutely superb Spectrum game. It was called Indiana Jones and the Fountain of Everlasting Life. Right. It was... it's the best looking Spectrum game I've ever seen. And I played through the first level. I just loved it. And then I played through the second level. And then they just went, you don't really think we're going to make any more of this? There were only 2 levels. This shit. I was completely... It was incredible. 2 fucking screens. That's all you got.
2022 and you're getting graphical reviews.
Yeah, exactly.
Spectrum games.
It's all current here. I told you, leave your fanboy shoes at the door. We play everything on this podcast. Oh, and the last one I played...
Leave your sense of time at the door.
I also played Mech Assault on the original Xbox because I wanted some big stompy robot action. That was great, but there's no multiplayer, so fuck it.
Right. Who woke up and thought I was a big stumpy robot?
Oh, I did. That's what I do.
I might do tomorrow, Neale.
All right.
See, I think
now,
I would wake up like that, but I don't have Dave's niche level and real depth of video game knowledge. Like, I feel like a bit of robot stompy with lasers and the option to choose a haircut, and Dave would be like, "Yeah, what are you want to play?"
You won't see the Gundam R3 on the.
You should charge for this service, Dave. You know when people are in like a gaming funk, and like, oh, I don't know what one. What do you? And just have like a questionnaire.
Just
like, what do you normally play?
Any old shit. Some of it
No,
will
but
stick.
I could see the role
really
as
put
like
him
an
in the right
old-timey barman. You know, you walk into the bar and the barman, Dave just knows what. So it'll be the Amiga tonight, will it? And he just knows.
There is a place like that called the Arcade Vaults in Cardiff, and it's basically like it's like a cross between a museum and an arcade. So you go in and they've got all old systems on the shelves, and you basically go in, order a drink, and say, I'd quite like to play the Dragon 32 today. And he just gets it off the shelf, sets it up for you, and off you go. It's superb.
I thought you were saying that there's a bar that when you go in, you order a drink, and he was like, "You want to play Street Fighter 2?" Like they actually could just read your mind. Because I actually went to a restaurant in New Zealand, a steakhouse, and they pride themselves on being able to take your order without even asking what you wanted. They knew by looking at you what slice of meat you wanted and how you wanted it cooking. And I thought you were talking that person in that bar in Cardiff was doing that with video games.
Could.
That would be fucking sensational.
I'd walk into that restaurant and they'd just give me the whole kebab on the spike.
Yeah, exactly.
Have that, you fan.
No, God, go.
See, I like the idea of walking into a restaurant or into a bar and saying, like, I'm going to play Zool on the Amiga, and they recommend a drink that pairs well with it. That'd be the Pinot Noir.
Yes.
Why don't we open that bar between the four of us?
We could probably...
Just Dave could be
all we've got to
Dave could be
do
general
is
manager.
put a set of ladders up to my loft, get some optics set up, and we're halfway there, lads.
I'm not sure you're in a prime location. Or maybe you
No.
are.
The clientele around your end.
So that,
I mean, we'd have
that's
to wipe
not
down
even
some
the
of
main
this
stuff I've been
equipment.
playing this month, lads.
Oh, bloody hell, Dave. Can we not... Jeez, what can we do about this?
This is it. I'm just going to cut this down. So
No, mate. It's not a slow on you. Take your time. Go through
So-
it. This is about playing video
because
games.
I've been a bit
Explain
ADHD
it to
with
us,
all
mate.
of this, I've basically got into ADHD games. So I've just been absolutely massive on, and you will love this, Matt, because I've gone balls deep into Tempest on all the different versions. I've just gone mad on like Jeff Mint and stuff, and
But it's the same game, though, isn't it?
sort of. But so they call them trance blasters, basically. So it's put your headphones on, maximum music, psychedelic visuals. So I've been playing like Tempest original arcade. I've been playing Tempest on the Jaguar. That is easily one of the best versions. And then Jeff Minter did TXK on the Vita. You know, I even went out to the pub and took it with me. I just sat there playing it. It was wicked. Tempest 2000, which is the latest one, that's basically TXK again, and all these other stuff like Moose Life and Polybius and all sorts of blasters, anything like that. I even started playing Geometry Wars 2 last night on the 360, and Baron's high score is still at the top.
every now and again, if I boot up the Xbox and I'm not in a real mood, I will always go and see that I've got Geo Wars 2 installed, and I will fire it up, and I will them servers are still there. I love that.
When you stick that game on now,
game.
and the Xbox like up-reses it, and it's all in 4K, it looks unbelievable. It looks like an original, proper vector display.
I'm downloading that after we finish this podcast.
Yeah, it's superb. You just got to play it. And if you've got any of the Tempests, fire them up because they are just the greatest.
I'm going to see if I've
Tempest
accidentally
2000.
already bought one because it sounds amazing.
Oh, it's so good.
Sounds
So yeah,
absolutely
so I've been into all that kind of stuff and some older ones like Robotron, and I've even for me, I've got to show you this because even for me, I've gone balls deep. So basically, my favourite arcade game of all time is Defender in the arcade, which I used to play it with my dad. I was always shit at it, and it's never ever felt right. And I always said, if there's one arcade machine I'm gonna get a Defender. But I looked into them and they cost like tens of thousands now. It's just not on. So I've tried to play it. I tried to play it with like my normal arcade stick and pads and stuff. Didn't work. And then I got talking to somebody on an emulation forum because I said, right, I want to build one of these. And he said, I'll get you some plans and sort you out. So I now have an actual Defender control panel. Dedicated.
Holy moly.
Yeah. So it's only for one game. That's it. So yeah. Now it plays properly. I can play.
Is that heavy? It looks
no,
heavy.
that's quite light. It's about as heavy as a normal stick. It's not weighted or anything. It's basically like a sandwich box with buttons and some nice vinyl and a controller in it.
It looks high quality, Dave.
The vinyl makes it look amazing.
Yeah, you've got it. I
really
thought if
cool.
I'm going for it, I'm going for it. So there you go. I now have basically perfect way to play that. I love it. So that's it. And listening to loads of Hawkwind and mind melting stuff lately. So I think it all is fitted into place. So I think I'll do a shout out as well now to. We've done a few community nights lately, which have been really superb with the community. So we started off with the Summer Games Fest, where a lot of us watched that together. It's always good to have a beer and a natter and watch out everything that was on. And one thing I wanted to say about that is, remember, Kath asked us if there's something that you'd like to see at E3, and I said, please, just let them just release games without a song and a dance and without them coming out in 3 years. And they came out right at the start of the Xbox conference and said all of these are out this year, no messing about. So brilliant, really enjoyed that. We've done some more Plants vs Zombies 2, Garden Warfare 2 with the Gears and Beers lot on a Friday, hilarious. But we've had a couple of really big decent Fall Guys nights the last few weeks, which have been great because it's basically been like Gears and Beers people, Midlife Gamers, and friends and associated, and we've had enough people to run custom lobbies, so no messing around. We've had like up to nearly 20 people at a time. It's been so good.
I think he was more than that, Dave. I think the first one we did, that very first Friday 2 weeks ago, it was close to like 27 people. I think was in that lobby at one point. It was a lot of people.
We actually,
because there was a lot of people chatting, a lot of people kind of like
How does voice chat work?
Well, we used party chat. You talk about this one. I've been talking for long enough, Neale. Go on.
Yeah. So because it's cross-platform, you can do it. There's actually the cross-platform element of Fall Guys is there's a party chat that goes across all of them. It's really clever. You wouldn't have thought something like that would take place, but yeah, you've what I think the limit that we found from like an Xbox console, and obviously the game bar thing is something like 16, I think it is. So we just found that was all right to a certain limit, but then when you get beyond that, we were going into that kind of like the party chat itself. But it's a stupidly silly game. I think have you played it, Matthew?
Yeah, I played it a bunch of times and with people as well. And I know it's fun, but like I don't know, it was a long time ago. I'm sure they've added lots to it because that made a lot of money, didn't it?
Yeah, and I think at the moment, I think that with the kind of move to free to play, and it moving to kind of like across all the consoles and stuff. I don't know if it's just a placebo effect, but it does look visually and plays a bit better. It's faster. The frame rate and things like that is more fun. I think probably the best way to do it.
I think what put me off was the fact that it felt so random. But there was a barrier of entry. You had to get past some random to be expert at it. I never felt that was like a middle ground. Maybe that's the funness of all of the dice.
I suppose that's why the custom games were so fun, because it was only us lot playing, no strangers.
And could you tweak like what?
Yeah. You
time
pick
limits
all
were?
different
Yeah, when you're private
playlists
lobby,
and
you've got
things.
full control. Yeah, so Dave would take control. Dave would be the host for everything, and Dave would actually choose the set list of tracks the courses we do. Have you played it before, Joe?
I don't think so.
You'd know if you have.
I think.
Like it's one of those.
Do you remember?
It's basically total wipeout again.
Oh, sorry. Yes. No, I was thinking about something completely different then. No, I have. It's good. I got really into it one summer, like properly into it for one summer, but didn't win any. But was like, oh, this is great. And then sort of drifted off because I wanted to collect all the little things and everything for a little bit, but then just drifted out of it, and it is incredibly frustrating most of the time.
Super frustrating. If you, I think like when we were doing these nights, there's like 25 odd of us. When you go out first round, and all you can do is just watch other people play.
That's annoying.
Like it is annoying, but also it's part of the fun because I'd find myself commentating and like on people's performances.
I guess that's what makes the difference when you're playing against people that, like when you really know everyone that's in the room as well. It's a lot more. Yeah. That bit's a bit more engaging, isn't it? Because it's someone you know that's doing it.
You also
it did feel a bit like
when
you were trying to do something really skillful while wearing like boxing gloves. It felt like I was trying to eat a sandwich wearing boxing gloves.
Yeah,
and it's designed that way, isn't it? It's supposed to be that.
Yeah.
Does Phil still win?
He's not joined in yet. He refuses.
Oh,
he does not like it.
He's way below Phil, isn't it? Come on, it's competitive, but it's not. He can't shoot people, so it doesn't happen. So no, Dave. Going back to your point, obviously, I know you wanted to thank a couple of community nights, but that's been good, hasn't it? Those last
really good fun. And that's me done. I'm not going to talk about anything else.
I think we should go to Joe because we've not heard from him for a while.
There's been an update in this live working document on the agenda.
Oh,
as if it's by I think Matt's been highlighting it. So whether there's been some breaking news or just a real desire for what comes next. But how's the Abbot?
How is the Abbot? I mean, I've been onto Wikipedia, and by all accounts, there's not a dead date yet.
Right.
So I'll take Wikipedia at its face value, and we can suggest that Russ Abbott is still very much with us.
Yay!
Imagine if he wasn't. God, the world would be
we might have to prepare for this. You know, like how the armed forces and everything prepare for when the Queen goes. We'll have to prepare for it if Russ goes.
Have you not all done it? Like I've got in the next room, like a black tie, and like we'll run and get changed straight away. It's protocol. Emberg, isn't it? Protocol Emberg has been
like you know, like the Alan Partridge episode where like the guy goes to the guy's house and he's just basically pictures of him everywhere. I thought you were going to say that's in your next room then, Joe. You got your Russ Abbott room to run into.
No,
he's got a Russ Abbott shed.
Yeah.
Just as the death correspondent, I've just got the death kit. Sudden death kit.
Pull the emergency cord on the death kit for Russ Abbott.
I hope I haven't prompted anything by not wearing the traditional Russ Abbott t-shirt tonight.
Will there be a special show if it happens?
Yeah, I think we'll have to.
We'll all get together.
Should we pre-record one just in case?
To release on the day.
In memorandum.
Could you imagine?
Lamenting it. Can we reenact some of the famous sketches and things like that? See you, Jimmy type sketches and stuff like that. Oh, yeah. So, yeah, no. Have you tried to sneak any kind of references in the last couple of episodes, Joe? Because I know that was like you and Dave were kind of trying to chuck in as much as possible. I've not at the point, even when that took place, I didn't even recognise that you had, but I've not heard anything of late.
There's a lot of accidental atmospheres. There's lots of people saying atmosphere.
Yeah.
I think I like a candle that burns so bright Going out quickly
on that idea.
Oh, my word.
Sizzle.
Can we get Hell on the call just to clarify that?
Yeah.
Maybe. It's no, I haven't done any Bella Emberg. Getting Bella Emberg into a discussion about Danny DeVito was my favourite.
I'm getting her to play me in CGI version, obviously, in our movie.
Oh, of course, yeah.
Okay, go on then, Joe. Tell us about the
Games.
games you've been playing.
Well, I'm gonna, as is per usual, I'm gonna maybe drift off a little bit, but there's a little bit of computer. There's games, little drift off, back to games, little drift off, back.
We'll bring you back to Earth, mate. We'll bring you back.
Yeah.
Don't worry. Go
So
for it.
I suppose
We've
already spoken about Mass Effect. I've started Mass Effect 1.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted something new, and I think this is going to pull me through. And then after that, I'll finish a couple because I've almost finished the DLC for the Frozen Wilds for Horizon, but I need something to, I don't know, a bit of a pull me through some gaming first. So basically, every time I was picking up a controller, it was like, here's a half-finished game, and here's another half-finished game. And it's like going for lunch and finding a half-eaten sandwich. Like, you don't want it. Yeah. You want something new. So this is doing that, and it's slow because things have been mad busy at the moment. Just a lot of deadlines at once. I've got 2 jobs and I'm doing a uni course as well, and they've all come at once, and it's just like that's just made it too hectic to do anything else. So a couple of hours at a time, I've been getting on with that. I did get The Witcher set up, and Dave helped massively, but I think this is on the last one where we actually got it started. I've played a little bit. I've had a wander up and down a bridge on Novigrad, I think, at Skellige. I've been into Skellige a little bit and wandered about a bit. But I think the PlayStation might need to take a trip to see Dave. In fact, we might need to arrange that for the summer if that's possible to get it. I don't think I've got the dexterity or patience to get it all sorted. But
I'll put that as a point later.
Deep clean.
But as compensation, I've been reading. So The Witcher, all the books are £1 on Kindle at one stage, and I think it was a Midlife Gamer post that got me onto it. I think it was Adam Gurney's post got me onto it. That they were like £1 on Amazon. So I've downloaded the whole lot to the Kindle, and I've been reading that, and it's really, really good. Like, it's the same kind of, well, it's the same, isn't it? The game's based off it really, really well, and the game does play a bit like a novel as well. Sometimes there's so many little bits, but it's got that feeling of the games, and that's really nice. And seeing those characters, you're like with those characters again, but in slightly new surroundings, and in a different way to, like, obviously the TV show that was on Netflix, which is again absolutely brilliant. I think the game and the TV show and the book are all excellent. And
still not done the second series of that TV show.
It's an easier task than the first one.
Much easier. Much more straightforward.
Yeah. I've got the audio book of The Witcher, one of the Witcher book. I think it's one of the first ones. I think it's called The Last Wish. The Last Wish. I've just read that, and it's great. Yeah, really good. Yeah, but I mean, I guess we probably know the story anyway, but it's explored in a bit more detail. Yeah,
I think it plays out a bit differently.
I mean, I listen to the audiobook because generally, like, when I do commute to work or when I'm at work working from home kind of thing, if I'm doing a particular boring task, then I'll try and listen to a book while I'm doing it. But it's a very good listen. So I imagine the read should be just as good, kind of whilst doing your own head kind of thing. That's good.
While we're on audiobooks, very briefly, and I'm going to do this as a cross-medium year of show now. I don't know if anyone's ever read the Sandman comic.
It's my absolute favourite.
Absolutely amazing. Yeah. Well, the audiobook that's on Audible, at the moment, for my main job, it's 40 minutes each way in the car. It's driving me mad, but genuinely looking forward to the travel when I had that, because it's such an amazing cast. And Neil Gaiman's one of the narrators, and you've got James McAvoy as Dream, and it's just brilliant.
Awesome.
And it's really well done, atmospheric, and I guess it helps if you've read the comics, because when they're talking about it, you're in those places in your mind really easily because you've got the surroundings and you've seen it all. But I can't recommend that enough. It's so good. That's me drifting back into games now. Helen started playing Sonic 2. So she was playing quite a lot of Sonic 2.
How is someone playing Sonic 2 in 2022?
On the Switch. So because I've got Switch Online, there's loads of retro games that come on it. And that was it. So she's playing on the Switch. I'm pretty sure if we plugged a Raspberry Pi in, we've got one with it on, but it's just not as immediate and ready. Whereas on the Switch, it's just there and it's ready. And there's some real, like, quality of life for someone who's not like mega into the challenge and the completing it and being that hardcore gamer, some of those games are a bit off-putting. You can sort of time hounding, rewind time on it a little bit. Or what was that game where we went back in time? What's that other one where Super Time Force Ultra or whatever it was, where you go back, but you can, if you press the two buttons on the side after you die, you can go back. And Helen was saying, like, if she didn't have that at the moment, she'd have given up, because it's just like, I haven't got the time to do the extra hours to go back to where, like, if I die, I don't want to spend 10 minutes getting back to where I came, or 5 minutes getting back to where I came from. I'll go back and take the hit. And it's meant that she's really enjoyed the game. And she's finished it. She's finished the whole thing. And Sonic 2 is a real tough one. Like, she did have some rules. She would go back to the start of an encounter most of the time. Or, if she'd beaten half of a boss, she'd go back to the point. Like, she'd set her own checkpoints, if you like. I'll go from here, and stuff like that. And that got... Then I was helping out a little bit. I was Tails, because I was just sort of dipping in and out and doing other stuff sometimes. It should just be there. And that's where it's acceptable to be Tails, I think. Because, like, you can't be arsed. So you just... And on Sonic 2, Tails isn't as useful as he is on Sonic 3. You can't pick you up and take you places and stuff like that. Yeah. So, but that was quite good. And then I got motivated just to do the last battle. So I remembered 1965-09-17, if anyone's struggling. The sound selector cheat that brings you the level select. So if you go and play sound number 19, then 65, then 09, then 17, you get a level select.
I did not know that.
It's someone at Sega's birthday. And there's another one that lets you do debug mode. I can't remember that one. I had to look that one up. But I genuinely remembered 1965-09-17 from back in the day. So I went and did the final encounter, and it's hard as well. And I did have to go back a couple of times and cheat. But then, actually, once you get... Because I remembered the pattern, I only probably did the cheat once or twice, and then it's just like, oh, right, he's easy enough to avoid if you quit. But he's a bugger. If, like, I don't think she played it much. She'd always passed, when she was younger, she'd always passed the controller to her brother for the bosses. So she'd play along and go like, oh, I can't be asked, you do it. So she'd never learnt all the weaknesses, so it's quite interesting for her to do it that way without so much of a time investment. It was cool. It was good fun.
Nintendo working on some sort of technology like that at one point, where like they were going to add it into the Mario games, where if you couldn't do something, you could just press a button and it would do it? I'm sure it was in like New Super Mario Brothers or something. I think for a lot of people,
there was some. Yes, idea. No. Mario Maker has got something like that where you can ask Luigi for help.
Yeah, it must be that.
And he comes and helps you out or makes it easier or something. Mario Maker is one that should be on my year of shame, because I've not given it anything like the amount of time it deserves. It's one where, like, it's infinite Mario, isn't it? It's like you can make your own Mario level and people can make it. And I know some of the MLG
Mario 2 on the Switch, and I've barely scratched it. You know what I mean? I thought it was a good idea.
It doesn't grip you, does it? But it's such a... It seems amazing. And I know Claire and the group, Claire Pryor, had made a level that was absolutely fiendish, and I didn't manage to do it.
Oh yeah, I played that one.
It's really hard. But yeah, that needs more airtime. Anyway, right, there's not much else I've been playing. There's only like 2 more games, 2.5. I think I mentioned this on the chat. There's a company that makes torches that had... was that just me and you, David? Did I put it on the main chat? I can't remember.
You put it in the torch game group. Yeah.
Where you had to, it was like 1024, but with little torches falling down on the screen, and you could win a torch. And we were trying to work out whether that actually counts as my Joker, but I didn't pay for it.
I don't know. It is a new game.
Yeah. Hey, it'll be the only one. I'm trying to go Jokerless. The other thing I've picked up, and I think it's because I've been doing quite a bit of travelling. So, like, I was in Birmingham and Walsall, exotic places like that last week. But
a tour of all the shit.
The trains are an absolute nightmare. So I've been hammering Pokemon Go, like really. For some reason, it's absolutely hooked me again. I found, like, I've got the controller for the Switch that's like a little Pokeball that it will connect to your phone to use it in the game, and it means you don't have to be an absolute. You can just look like a child rather than a nerd.
Just let me just repeat this for the benefit of the listeners. But in Warsaw, they installed a load of giant plant pots which looked exactly like the warp pipes in Mario. So now I've just got this image of Joe walking through Warsaw with a Pokeball, and some Warsaw person just going, "Is he taking the piss or what?"
Yeah, but the thing lets you collect all the stuff by just pressing the button on the side of the controller. The controller's just a little round sphere.
So you saying you're walking along with a Pokeball in your pocket, or are you just pleased to see me?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Do you have to play cricket?
Do you have to play cricket?
So are you off to play cricket? You're like a cricket ball in your pocket, that's all.
He's not rubbing it up the side of his trousers like Vic Reeves.
I don't know how you play fucking Go. I don't got a clue.
Isn't it just like you walk around real life locations and catch Pokemon and walk to hatch them?
Well, there's a lot of like... So there's a system in it for gifts. So that's the thing that gets you. So a load of my mates are playing it. And one or two mates... If you remember when I talked about the one that was... I was going to get Arceus because we were going to sort of play that at the same time. And that's why that was nearly my Joker. Well, he's on it. So you can sort of send each other gifts. And the gifts connected to the place you picked it up. So I have managed to send him like the Signalman statue from Wolverhampton Station. And the Black Horse statue from Wolverhampton Station. So that's like connected to the things you send. So that's quite cool. And when you're travelling, it's like, wow, get some new little stickers to send to people, little postcards to send to people. And collecting... There's little, like, tasks that keep you in it. I don't know, it's properly hooked me again for a little bit, but I go through phases, and I'll stop playing again in a bit. And the last game is Majora's Mask, but I've just been playing a little bit of it. I've not moved much further on, actually. I've just been, like, mucking about in the Goron village bit and following a ghost and got up to that bit and got ready to go into the ghost's house. But yeah, that's I haven't finished any games, but I've got a few queued up and I'm getting a lot more free time soon, so I should make a bit more progress next month. I don't think I'll ever have... Over the year, I won't touch on what Dave does in a month.
No, don't forget, the reason I've been playing that many is because they're tiny, short, quick blast games. So,
Yeah.
Right, shall I wrap up the section?
Yeah, go on, Matt. Tell us what you've been up to, gaming-wise.
All right, I'm going to be real quick. In fact, Dave, you'll be happy to know that we got some facts and figures coming up, so we will punch the Money Matters theme. You ready?
Let's go!
I'm ready.
All right. So let's recap on some of the things, shall we? So if we remember that I ditched the idea of monthly direct subscriptions to Xbox Live, whatever I'm paying for the gold gig. So that came up for renewal again. Went straight back to CD keys, another £35. Get a digital code immediately. Plumbed it into my account. Once again, it said, "Come on, Matt, are you sure you don't want to get back on the odd direct debit hit?" Do you remember how nice that was? We'll give you an extra month for it. And I said no. I said no, Microsoft. I prepaid, and I paid for what I'll have, and I'll have what I paid for.
Matt, you do realise there's like a literal guide to save you hundreds on how to get your Game Pass for years.
Dave, one step at a time. One step at a time. All right. What else are we up to? What else? So let's keep it quiet. But do you remember I just sort of like let that Spotify thing lapse? Let's see if that raises its ugly head.
Oh,
totally hasn't raised its ugly head at all.
No notification whatsoever.
She doesn't know.
Notification, I think yes, but in the real world scenario, I think if we shout something at Alexa, I think it plays it through Apple Music. I don't know.
Yeah,
I'll be paying for that for somewhere else.
Yeah, is that because you're paying for both services?
Oh my god! You can.
Well, not anymore.
I've got Apple Music, Deezer, Signal, Tidal, and
No,
I've just scrapped Spotify. It seemed like overkill.
Yeah, I've even decided to pay for Napster.
Just chuck them in a direct debit on the Patreon.
So what else? So do you remember that I was paying? And I think Dave, you were querying this with me and Neale actually. But Office 365 you can't buy as a physical product, can you, Neale?
No.
So it's a subscription only thing, and I cancelled it about 3 months ago, and everything still works.
Ooh.
It tells me that shit ain't sinking. I'm thinking, well, never mind.
Okay. Okay then.
But my like my one Excel document that I care about, which is where my facts and figures are getting better, lives in a OneNote that I think is free anyway. So like,
Yeah.
I don't care if you're not syncing. I'm not paying for anything. It's installed. I guess I'm all right.
Functionality's still there.
Yeah, I guess so.
Nice stuff, mate. Nice stuff.
Yeah, a lot of big things are happening. I'm moving out of a house in 2 weeks.
What?
Oh,
Would
that's
you
big.
what? Say what? Say what?
Are you going
Yeah,
to be
man.
allowed to like put your own things on the wall now?
Almost. Again, I had a huge curveball. So this house we're renting in has been sold. We're here fine until the end of September. And the landlady's lush. She's just like, look, because we're selling it, we haven't got to worry about like making things right for the next tenants because like there's no new tenants. You're selling it, so all the deposits yours, all real nice. And we've, in fact, here we go. So we've just dropped on a bungalow.
Oh.
Yeah,
Say what?
bungalow.
Okay, well, that's unique. Why? Is there any particular reason?
There's a
Or
basement.
is it just
Is there a
right
basement?
next? Is it basically right next to a pub?
There's 2 pubs.
Oh,
shop.
it's in between 2 pubs.
Well, either way. So the question is that we agreed on the price, and then within 1 day we find out that the stove in the log burner in the lounge it's condemned, or its chimney is condemned. Now we're paying an extra 50 quid above what they asked for because like a lot of people, the rental market's gone crazy. It's like a job interview. We had to go there and show off that we know how to rent a house. And I think some of the questions I asked made him realise that I know how to rent a house. Because 6 of us were there waiting overnight. It weren't like for a mortgage where just making sure that you've got the money and like if you're a first time buyer, wonderful. I'm like, these guys are thinking about like, is this the right person to live in my house?
Oh, God, was it like, did they try and make you do Squid Games in the fucking bungalow? To see who survived, who gets to fucking rent me?
They could have, but go back to that that thing. So we found out today that okay, so that log burner we can't use. It looked lush. It looked brand new. Looking forward
That's
to
a
using
massive disappointment, that is, mate.
it. And we've just signed up for it as well. So I think we're going to go back and say, do you know what? We're not giving you that extra 50 quid a month that we offered to give ourselves a bit of a leg up, and either you, the agency, you eat it. Because you advertised it with these things, and it was totally advertised with bullet points, or the landlord does because he was hiding it up until the last minute. Either way, between the two of you, you take the hit. We're not paying that 50 quid extra. Does that sound fair, Joe?
It does. Are you actually willing for them to say no?
Well, therein lies the problem. This is like Dave telling me to go and try and blag for 900 meg internet. Sometimes living and having a house is more important than having faster internet.
The thing is, though, Matt, to interject on this, having actually recently moved house 3 months ago, and we've got a log burner in our living room. It's like a multi-fuel thing, coal and logs. With the kind of crisis that's going on at the moment in terms of everything costs a fucking bomb, it's invaluable, mate. I spend £17 on 3 bags of logs, and they last about 2 months, 6 weeks.
Nice.
And you only sit in the living room anyway, and you use 1 log, maybe 2 logs for every late early evening throughout the night, and it is stiflingly hot, too hot at times. So I think go on, sorry, Joe.
You carry on. Carry on.
So I think that if you can negotiate that they actually, if it's decommissioned, I don't understand what that what that entails. Is in like it's blocked off and it's just a fucking ornament by the sounds of it. Then that's bollocks. If they can fix it and they can make it working again, any repercussions you can pull back from gas bills, electricity bills for heating, I'm living proof that a log burner in your living room is amazing.
So that's, I think, your tactic, Matt, is to go in. So, like Neale said, if they fix it, it's going to save you loads on your fuel. So you say, well, look, I've given you that extra 50 thinking I was getting a log burner, and I need that 50 quid, or I need a functional log burner. So how about you say you'll fix the log burner, I hold back on the 50 until it's fixed.
Yeah.
Because I was and see, that's a more of a, you might, if they don't fix it, you're holding back on the 50 forever.
Well, it feels like we're having this conversation before we sign anything on the dotted line. So originally it was like, well, maybe we could turn it into an open fire in time for Christmas. I'm like, but then the last update was, no, they're not doing that, but they'll put an electric one in if you want.
No, screw that.
I'm like, they cost a fortune to vote.
No, if you've been already in talks, I think it needs to go. We either drop the extra 50 because we're paying that because we'd be able to save an amount on.
Or you use it as an actual fuel fire yourself that's closed off, that's an actual log burner that generates, on little amount of fuel, a lot of heat.
This is an unexpected avenue we have taken.
Can't you?
I did not think I'd be talking about
Can't you
this.
just grab some small urchin off the street and bung them a few quid to nip up the chimney and clean it out?
Hey, yeah, but
Is that not what happen these days?
They're all on the roofs dancing to get in line or whatever. Step in time.
The big takeaway from that is that, like, we were kind of getting a bit ballsy, saying like, well, maybe we won't stay there. I'm like, well, we need that, like, the uncertainty of having to leave here at a certain time and not having a place, and again, seeing that the rental market is like you're competing. Like, we sent. Like, the wife was smart enough to send them an email from her work address, and her work email address shows a little bit of coolness and a bit of like, I'm awesome because I work here, and let them see the link to the property we're living in now to be like, look, this is like we've maintained this for 3 years. Like, we're not darkhards. So I don't know. We might have to eat it.
I don't want to go into facts and figures, Matt, and it's probably not something for a podcast about video games, but. Have you thought about getting a mortgage?
Oh yeah, that's also has been an option for a time. Too many options, Neale.
Yeah, okay, fine. We'll take that offline, mate. We'll have a conversation offline.
All right. Let me talk about a video game thing that I reckon's really going to wind Dave up. You ready for this? All right. You mentioned something in the chat a while ago. I think it was noticing that you weren't adding the premium subscription maybe to a free-to-play game. Because, like, if you get a free-to-play game and it becomes part of your life and part of your routine, you're all right dropping them a $5 every now and again, and you'll get the extra rewards and everyone's a winner. And I remember seeing that and thinking, I'm still doing that.
Oh, Jesus. It was Clash Royale for me. Yeah, that's deeply cut my time down on that.
What have you been playing, Matthew?
Well, obviously, they're not very imaginative with the names. Mine's Rush Royale.
I'm going to look this
Rush
up
to the
right
bank
now.
account Royale.
I mean, look, I've been playing it for the past year and a half. For the last year and a half, I've been playing this game, and I don't always buy like that added subscription. Every now and again, over the 18 months I've been playing it, I've probably dropped £40-50 on it every now and again, and I only do it when I know that I'm playing it a lot, so I know that I'm gonna like my additional reward for being a premium person for that month will be bolstered.
Is it that one, Matt? Sorry,
that's the one, Dave. Go get it. It's Tower Defense. You'll love it.
My heel of shame.
That's true.
He's got enough games to play. Okay.
Yeah, it is a really good game. It's a really good mobile tower defense game. I know that there have been. I remember buying on a Nokia storefront or downloading on a Nokia phone before touchscreens a Sonic the Hedgehog emulation, and I was happy as shit to be able to play that on my phone for the 2 minutes until I finished 1-1. I'm like, I've now played Sonic on the go. What more do I want in the world? But like, I put a lot of time into this game, so I'm actually kind of all right. There's the idea of like pay to win, and there's the concept of whales, like people who throw a lot of money in there because they've got more money than sense. Not like this guy, but a lot of you winner maybe, or just a. But I'm all right with where I am with that. I think, like, £50 a year on a game that I play every single day, and I make that could work for me.
But
I think so. There's people that play like Dotas and MOBAs and stuff like that that do more.
Loads of people just buy skins or whatever, you know. If you like it, See, I've never had a problem with this because I started playing things like EverQuest MMOs, and there was a monthly fee, so I've been used to doing this for, I don't know how long, 25 years or whatever, since subscriptions have been around, it's never really bothered me, the amount, microtransactions that are optional and don't aid in the game in any way. Fine, go for it. It's your own choice. So you've been bunging about 40 quid a year to this Rush Royale?
Something like that, yeah. Something like that. And I'm happy with it. Real happy with it. I know that we've got some stuff coming to Sea of Thieves very soon. That all looks pretty cool. When we were watching that, I forget which conference it was, but it was cool watching it, Dave, and I always bless you for setting them up. But what's that one that Neale really likes and was kind of losing his mind over when they were like, you can fly a ship?
I don't know. I've completely forgotten.
There was an awful lot of things in that conference we were losing our minds over.
It was the Starfield.
Starfield.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. No. I did lose my shit on that. That looked, for somebody like me that likes Bethesda games, that was basically jizz juice. It was amazing.
That got quite a lot of backlash.
Yeah.
Backlash, didn't it? There's people just saying it doesn't look.
Yeah, because people like to hate.
Yeah,
on everything,
exactly. Just ignore it then. If you
Do you
don't
mean
like it, go away. Do something else.
Yeah, exactly. Get a different hobby, you pricks. But that was something that I was concerned about when I was actually using my Joker on Elden Ring when Starfield was coming out. So I knew I had a lot kind of riding behind it. Whether it was going to be good, whether it was going to be coming out, all that kind of thing. But yeah, I'll be investing heavily in that.
All right. The last thing I want to say about my gaming is touching on Elden Ring as well. It was my Joker as well, and I did that thing I think I do a lot with the Soulsborne games, is that I spend more time watching videos of tutorials and here's a great build for New Game Plus than actually playing it sometimes. Yeah. And I did a big dive to realise why it is that I can't activate my first proper buff, which are controlled by those things. I've got loads of them. And I can't open that damn gate when I go over. I can kill the damn giants. I can kill all 3 of them damn giants. Walk the stuff over there.
This is the boss room when you have to run across the bridge and yeah.
But it's the fact that I still haven't killed. I thought I'd killed all of the bosses that I needed to. I bumped into bosses and killed them that are probably even stronger than the one that I've not found yet. But it's the dude with a dragon hand. I remember seeing him once, but it turns out he's the one that I need to kill in order to actually progress the game properly. And I don't know, man. Hearing you guys talking about laying all the pins in the map and everything. Hearing you last time we recorded talking about that made me think that, you know what, I've kind of missed a trick and I feel like I'm lost.
Yeah.
I'd rather watch other people
what you've done, mate, is what I was starting to do, and as well as is that it's one of those games that you want to play it right. You don't want to miss. You don't want to miss out. You want to play it right. You want to play it smart. But actually, playing it smartly is actually just playing it your own way. So I was starting to watch videos about the best way to all the secrets in blah blah blah.
No.
And I've never been. I'm just not. I'm not good enough to be like this kind of build. I'm just not smart enough for that kind of stuff. I think I'd just ignore it, Matthew, and just basically go back again. Play a bit more of the area that you just come from. Really kind of feel like you're overpowered in that, and then give that guy a go again. If it's the person that I think that you're referring to,
is it Morgott?
There is, yeah. I think there's a way of cheesing it. If you want to know, and I'll tell you on the chat thread.
All right.
Yeah, there's a way that because I think I got to him, I was just like, and I'd look, and there's a way of. It takes about 20 minutes to prep for, but yeah, you can go in there and you can basically just avoid him.
Is it that you're lost and don't know where to go, or are you just stuck on this boss?
I don't know where to go. That's the thing. I remember finding that boss once, and it wasn't until I watched a video I realised that's why I can't unlock the next huge thing. But I forgot where on earth he was.
Yeah. Okay, got you.
He's in Stormberg.
Most of the time, the bonfires, they got like a flame going off them. Basically, go that way. Follow it.
Yes, Dave, I did put 60
Oh, yeah,
hours
sorry,
into it. I'm
okay.
not an absolute noob.
Yeah.
Right. But either way, I maybe I'll come back to that one day. Maybe in my new house, I'll find a new position to play that. Because
new mindset.
What I never did in this house is I never kind of I spend so much time in the office, it becomes my go-to place. Like my Xbox is plugged into this screen here, but my work is plugged into this screen here, and it's the same chair that I sit on every single day. So in the new move, I'm going to be a little bit selfish about like, well, what do I want from the living room? Like, I want my Xbox to be here. Yeah. I want to be able to Xbox in the morning, Xbox in the evening, and so I'm looking. So maybe that'll be something I can go back to. I don't think I'd ever re-roll. I did that once. I don't need to, but like get back in there with a fresh mindset. Let's go for it. Let's explore.
60 hours is too far.
Yeah, don't restart because you got to recollect all the crap that you'll have accumulated. You know, even just little supplies.
The thing is, I know with that game that I've got a lot of stuff in my inventory that I have no idea what it is, what it does, and I'm just gonna keep on collecting it. And I'll end up finishing it and showing Dave like my inventory is like, Jesus Christ, like, you know, that's like half of the things you can collect. You've not used any of these things.
Mind you, I did that.
So yeah, don't worry.
I played as a prophet, and so like with the clerical type spells, you can do a lot of the things like cure poisons and things like that, so you don't really need to use all those many consumables. So I didn't use them. You know, like you collect all the books off the traders to give you crafting recipes. Yeah, got all them, never used them. So yeah. I'm just carrying this gigantic Santa sack of inventory round with me.
Yeah, exactly. The only thing I craft is just poison darts.
Yeah,
because they work. Anywho, thank you for that, Matthew. Is that all the games you've been playing then, mate?
That's all I've been playing, and as things happen, I'm going to hand hosting duties out to... Let me throw a dance at the visual board. I'm throwing it to... Joe!
I'll be honest, August is my month for doing the hosting. Wow.
He's on his holidays. He's on his hollybobs.
No more assassinations this month.
Yeah. Okay, I'll take over for a little bit then. So shall we jump into another Facebook question really quickly? And then we'll do a quick round the room, kind of what's our plans for next month, like really quickly. We've been recording for a little while now.
Yeah, it's quite big now. It's nearly 2 hours.
Yeah, so okay, so we've got a question here from Mark Palmer. It says, in this insane heat which is due this week, how are you guys gonna cope with it? What's your top tips for staying cool while gaming? That's a good question because my office that I game from is tiny and it gets fucking boiling in here. So I'd like to know your answers on this as well, guys. So Dave, what do you do? Is there any particular top tips for this?
Xbox sippy cup.
Filled with
drink
ice.
Loads of water. I know it's stupid, but drink loads of water. Play in your pants. Get a fan.
Is it B40? But I see front page of the news website is like it's going to be hot. You'll die if you don't drink loads of water. And part of me is thinking, do we need to tell them?
No.
Well, let the
Sun readers should just not tell them, especially.
The Sun should say, water is some sort of lefty conspiracy. Drink water and you're supporting Labour.
Yeah, Jerry Corbyn drinks water.
If you're a true Brit, true Brits shun water.
Yeah.
Shun H2No, that would say on the Sun.
Yeah, H2No.
Get water done.
I can always remember a comedy clip from somebody who was just like, you know, what we should do is remove the warning bottles from like detergents and domestos and stuff like that kind of thing. Where he says like, don't drink it. It's like, well, if they're stupid enough to drink it, then they deserve to drink it.
There's one of those.
They wouldn't have it in the zoo, would they?
Right, this is a big rant. There's one of those that was right. Let's
not go on too much of a tangent here, guys.
Tangent. Look, the lady who sued McDonald's for getting her with hot coffee, she's a hero. And if you look up the story of her, she's a genuine hero who's like properly smeared by McDonald's as if she was some busybody. What happened was they served her ridiculously, dangerously hot coffee, and she spilled it all over herself and had to go to hospital for burns. McDonald's refused to pay. That's why it has danger hot coffee on the coffee things because McDonald's were absolutely horrible, and they were serving the coffee at a temperature that's like illegal.
Crazy bastards.
And the woman, they absolutely like smear campaigned and ruined her life basically. And because it was in America, she had to pay her own hospital bills, so she took them to court for like to pay the hospital bills that the coffee caused, and they were like, she wants us to give her loads of money because she couldn't control coffee. That's a tangent. I'm stopping there.
Yeah, okay, that's fine. Okay, I'm looking at, so very quickly, keeping cool. I think mainly just drink ice water, isn't it? I think somebody once told me a year ago that the best invention, the best gadget he ever bought was an ice maker. Because you can obviously use it for like cocktails and stuff like that, but it's invaluable during summer months. Making ice constantly, putting it in all your drinks and stuff like that. The best way to keep cool is to drink cold things. Okay, so I'm going to mix this up a little bit because we have been recording for a little while now, and I want to see if we can start bringing this to a little bit of a close. So what I'm going to do is because it's quite a big topic in the next question. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do domestics. I think I'm going to run through that if I can potentially read without my glasses on. So please bear with me. Usually we get somebody that's entered one of our kind of blah 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 episodes to read the domestics for us, but unfortunately due to external events we don't have anybody for this episode unless it gets done before this episode gets edited and sent out, which is very very doubtful. So I'm just going to really quickly just say that obviously if you listen to this podcast, well done, you found us. Tell your friends. Tell them that we're actually on Spotify and things like that for the Year of Shame Challenge.
God damn it, if you tell two friends, let's do it. Spread the word, Neale.
Spread the word. Tell two friends. They'll then tell them to tell two friends. Boom.
We just assume we broadcast to the same people.
Both of them.
Yeah, but why yeah. You know. Derek and Jeff are bored now. They need more people listening with them. We also put this out on YouTube as well, but we don't put it with the audio on. We don't with the visuals with the actual faces on, which is a bit weird when I catch it on YouTube. But there you go. You probably just don't want us looking bored or see our drunken eyes get even more hazier as the recording goes on. But yes, look for us on YouTube as well under the Year of Shame Challenge. Obviously, there's a Facebook group as well where you can interact with any kind of streaming, any posts, any updates, any kind of questions and points of view that we post on there. And that is just look for Year of Shame in Facebook group. If you want to email us with any particular questions, comments, or anything like that, you can contact us with yearofshame@gmail.com, and Twitter is @yearofshame. There is a Discord channel as well that we highly recommend that you get involved in. It's not solely centred at Year of Shame because why would it be? There's actually I really like it. There's a really good Discord set up for Midlife Gamer. I'm not going to read out that link because it's a link. It's got like small characters, big characters in it, Dave. Well, I don't know why you've put that in there like that, but basically search for Midlife Gamer on Discord and you'll find us and be in there. There's this.
We'll try and get tiny URL set up for you, Neale.
Oh, thank you very much. Yeah, that'd be great. So there's the domestics. Come and find us. Get involved. Tell your mates, and if they say no, poke them in the eye.
Take that, mother.
Right. Yeah.
Neale said it's okay.
Yeah. So give him a Chinese burn. Is that politically correct? Give him a burn on their arm with your rubbing your hands. My dad used to give massive, horrible Chinese burns. Anyway, that's a completely different podcast.
Yes.
However, one I would subscribe to.
Yeah.
Injuries.
It's like the size
injuries.
It's like the Ainsley Harriott size, rub burns.
Oh God!
It'd be a successful podcast. My dad gave me a
rub burn around my neck. Okay, so the last question we've been submitted, and I want to try and keep this brief if possible. And I think we've got a little bit of an expert in the room on this particular subject matter. It's definitely not me. Another question submitted by Mark Palmer is: do you think collecting Microsoft points is breaking the rules of Year of Shame? I can't think of the reason, to be honest. I just want to say also. Somebody might have to take over from this. My glasses are not in the room. I just want to say that you all say yes, so I don't actually have to beat Dave Southall in collecting them each month. Because if it's what I can't get, what does that say?
Because it's the
I think it's the color. It's the color of the text. Is just.
I know it's that, and there's no commas or like punctuation. That
it's because he's been typed furiously like this.
Yeah, he's so angry. What's he saying, Dave?
Right. That's what he's saying. Do you think that collecting the Microsoft points is breaking the rules? Well, it's not because
No.
I'm not playing anything specifically. You know, there are Game Pass quests and things where it says, you know, go and play NLB The Show, baseball, do this, and you get X points. So I'm not doing any of those. All I'm doing is searches and doing the questions on, you know, the Bing app. And then, you know, some Game Pass games I do play or fire up, like Golf with Friends, you know, it's community. And why he's saying that is because the second part he's saying, I just want you to say yes so I can beat Dave at something, collecting them each month, because it was the only thing I had left in my life he wasn't beating me at. Now he is. It's because, right, this is the God's honest truth, right? He always thinks he's going to beat me on gamer score points every month. So I get a little one and I keep it in my pocket until the last couple of days, and then bang, 1,000 point him right at the end, just to piss him off.
A knockout punch to the end. Couple of kidney blows and then a knockout punch. Yeah, no, I'd say it's not against the rules because it's free. It's just a mechanism. There's a bigger question because I know Matt asked it earlier on about, you know, what are they? What is it? And things like that. We could talk for hours, but give a very brief
and concise
overview, David. So
basically, you accrue these points daily by doing various things, and then you can cash them in for literal free money from Microsoft. So you can build up these points just literally by doing searches every day. I mean, I've got a script that just runs it, so I'm not even doing anything. I'm literally pressing go in the morning. And you can then change them in. So you can buy like your Game Pass. I've got enough to run Game Pass for a year now. But what I'm actually doing with it is I'm saving them up till January, and then I'll be buying Borderlands Tiny Tina's Wonderland for fuck all. So that's what I'm doing. Yeah, it's
okay. Well, we'll get into it. I guess the big question is sort of like what. I was going to say, why do you do it? Because if you're getting money out of it, because originally I thought it was just like that. Do you remember that you could set that service up where you'd link a website with your gamer tag and it would blog on behalf of your gamer tag. It was like, hey, I was online today and I was playing this game and I was playing that game. And Darren even had me go around his house every single day when I was on holiday just to boot a game up to keep his streak.
Oh my God.
Like 200 days or something like that.
Jesus
and this is what I thought this was. So if
it's free money.
What's the? Is it? But is it just you're talking about like Edge and all the? Is it just for Microsoft to keep people in their
Yes, it's basically exactly that. So you've got like mini quizzes that you take part in every day, and every single quiz answer that you click on. So if he says like, you know, name 5 films by particular director out of 10. It'll take you to the search page of every single movie that you click on in answering that. So it's more hits on that page. So Bing search is getting more users. So they've got more kind of, you know, gravitas behind them for, you know, their fucking market holding share meetings and stuff like that kind of thing. Oh, so many people clicked on blah, blah, blah. You know, I mean, that kind of thing. But you do get the points. I have used it in the past. And I have bought I think I got like a 30 quid voucher for Xbox. Then I bought and I actually put it towards a game like a year or two ago kind of thing. So it's got its values. But the thing is, to get the maximum value out of it, because it is about that chain, Matthew, to a certain extent, you do have to do it every day. You don't have to, but to get the most out of it, you and get the kind of like the linking of more points because you've done it 10 days in a row.
Is there a combo and like daily login rewards?
Yes.
Is it exciting? Are the little chests that explode going bee?
Exactly that.
Bing
Yeah.
Search.
Yeah, it is exactly that. Right.
Wow.
Yeah.
But like I said, a good one for your Money Matters because it's free money. At the end of the day.
The thing is, though, Matt, is it's not. Some people play it like it's a video game.
That's what. Well, I do it
Do you
in the
mean
morning.
they-
I do. I get up. I make a coffee. I play. Yeah, I play the. Oh, what's it called? The high score day challenge. You know, like Derek and Ross and various people are always on there, so we're always talking about that. And then I'll just do my points, which, and all in all, takes about 10 minutes a day. Morning routine done.
Yeah, it's if you've got the time and effort, which I don't think Matt's got the effort.
Nope, I take
Nope.
a shit and I
I'm
That's my
going to
morning.
pimp this again, but right at the top, as a pin post on the Midlife Gamer Facebook group, there is a guide by Mark. Just read that. It tells you how to do it. Everything.
Okay. Right, we've done all questions, we've done all games, everything we're playing. I don't think we need to waste any more time about what we're looking forward to. Hopefully, we're going to record a little bit sooner. There won't be much of a gap in between episodes this month. Do we reckon, guys? Can we pull our socks up and
Touch
sort
wood, no
ourselves
one
out?
gets
Like say
ill or
Joe's.
anything this month.
Yeah, Joe says his life's going to get a bit simpler over the next couple of weeks, which is going to be good for us all. I'm going to try and make some time. If I don't have to cross a picket line next week, that'd be good. Not going to go into that right now. So yeah, don't get me started. Anyway, you know what? I'm gonna call this quits. I'm gonna thank you all for listening. Do get in contact with us if you've got any questions, comments, or just general feedback. Tell us how boring my voice is and how pitchy it is and how much it sounds like someone on crack. Anything, that'd be great. Thank you very much for listening. Any last words of wisdom, Dave?
Don't take
Joe,
crack.
Matthew? Don't take crack.
Yep.
I'll try not to before
Crack
next
does
recording.
not keep
Crack
you
is whack.
cold while gaming.
Crack is whack.
Okay.
Is that an actual thing? Crack is whack. If it isn't, we need to make some money off that shit. Not crack. I mean the actual slogan.
yeah. Fuck saving lives, some hardcore drugs. Let's make some money out of it.
I don't know why they.
Then we
voted
get
for the
loads of
NHS over you,
cocaine.
Neil. I don't know why anyone would vote for the NHS over you.
Yeah. Thank you very much. I'm not gonna end this podcast on that note. Sorry, not gonna allow it. Let's talk about something else for 5 minutes. No, I'm joking. Right, thank you very much, everybody, and we'll see you
Thanks,
next
everyone.
time.
Bye.
Cheers.
Right.